Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host Deffinition, and you're now locked into the channel where we've been watching The Watchmen to break down everything that you need to know about the new season on HBO. Throughout this video we'll be recapping the 4th entry in the series thus far, and discussing where the show could be heading in the future. There will be heavy spoilers here, so if you haven't had a chance to watch episode 4 yet and don't want to know what happens, then I highly suggest that you turn off now. With that out of the way, I just want to give a huge thank you for clicking this video. Now let's get into our breakdown of Watchmen episode 4. Okay, so just a quick recap to bring you up to speed on everything. So far on Watchmen, Sister Night has uncovered what looks like it could be a huge conspiracy inside the police department that seemingly shows one of its high-ranking officers was linked with a group known as the 7th Cavalry that carried out attacks on the police and public. After this officer, Captain Judd, was murdered, it drew the attention of the FBI, who sent in their agent Laurie Blake in order to investigate the crime. Episode 4 picks up very much in the midst of this, with the Cold War and the 7th Cavalry, and it also introduces many aspects of the show that we've only really had lip service paid to so far. Like most of the episodes, we get a cold opening that shows us a childless couple that live in Oklahoma being woken in the middle of the night by Lady Trieu, who wishes to offer them a child in exchange for 40 acres of their land. For those who don't know, Trieu actually purchased Adrian Veidt's businesses and corporations before he went missing, or as we know, off to the castle. Trieu divulges that she has created a child for the couple from their biological material, which she cultivated from one of her clinics. The couple don't want to sell because their legacy is in their land, but as they don't have any kids, this won't be the case. Trieu has an awesome introduction, and she instantly becomes one of the standout characters in the show thus far. At the home we see what appears to be Trieu's daughter, but it is possible that she is also a genetic creation and someone that has been engineered by the character in order to provide her with the legacy that she so desperately wants to bring to this family. During the deal though, something crashes to Earth, and this becomes a big question in the episode that we don't really get closure on. We then join Angela, who, with Laurie and the FBI hot on her toes, begins to do a major cleanup of her bakery, including breaking down Will's wheelchair, which becomes a big story point later on. It is revealed that Will can actually walk and that he has been feigning his disability. I'll discuss this further in the recap, but it is important as it shows his similarities with Angela, who too has been pretending to be a lowly baker in order to avoid suspicion and attention. When cleaning up the mess, Angela overhears a voicemail from the DNA center that states that Will, and therefore her grandfather, has had an extra branch added to their family tree. Returning there, she learns of Will's past and his mother and father, as well as the ordeal that he went through as a child. It's where the series started, and this inclusion in episode 4 makes it feel like everything is slowly starting to come full circle. However, Angela doesn't want too much to do with the character, and after hearing a large bang she runs outside to see Laurie where we left her last week, with Angela's car right in front of her. I love the fact that similar to last week she's laughing maniacally, as this ties in a lot with her father the comedian, who is known for finding the humour in destruction and shock. The two have another tense conversation, and this comes to a head later when Laurie takes over Judd's office in the police department without asking for permission. It's clear that Laurie is keeping a close eye on the character, and she's not the only one. When disposing of Will's wheelchair, she is tracked by Spandex Man, I don't want to get demonetized. Anyway, he certainly is a slippery character and shows just how weird Watchmen can be. It looks like this is Agent Petey due to his height, weight and so on, and his sudden appearance makes a lot of sense as he arrived on the scene not long after Laurie and also has a fascination with Angela, who as we know is a target for the both of them. We also learn more about the Squidfall and how, like the original hoax attack by Ozymandias, they appear and then die not long after. Those who are familiar with the source material will know that these creatures aren't really alive, and after seeing the suspicion surrounding the squid attack in the first episode, I believe that the government, or perhaps even Dr. Manhattan, may be carrying out these in order to keep up appearances to stop the world from going back to war. Anyway, Angela also discusses with Looking Glass Judd's closet costume, and LG seems to be on Judd's side about it. He doesn't seem all that shocked either, and I definitely think that this guy may secretly be in on it, perhaps even behind the attack on Judd, because I'm not too sure Will would have carried it out. In the build up to Judd's death, we did see strobe lights flicker, and Looking Glass did use visual stimuli when interrogating the cavalry member earlier in episode 1. After going back to the police station, Laurie and Angela head out to Trieu Industries in order to investigate why Angela's car dropped from the sky. Laurie shows that she's tightening the net on Angela and reveals she visited her husband husband, and also discusses the trauma in Angela's past that causes her to dress up like a nun. It's here that we get to learn of Laurie's past, and whilst the two are currently at a standoff, I think it's becoming clear that they will eventually team up and end up becoming allies, and this conversation shows the commonality that they have with one another. This episode is really about inheritance, and just in the same way that Laurie inherited being a masked vigilante from her parents, Angela has inherited unwanted things from her grandfather Will as well. In addition to this, the introduction of the episode too touched upon this motif, with the family possibly leaving nothing to inherit as they had no heirs, and overall this piece showcases that everyone in the show is in some way paying the ways for quote unquote the sins of their father. Watchmen has always been very much about the past and how it impacts the future, and this aesthetic is at its strongest in this episode. At the corporation, Trieu's daughter gives Angela and Laurie a tour. I don't know what went on here because there was no men allowed, and this is some SJW woke bullcrap. Now they go there and meet Trieu and are told that the giant clock that Trieu is building tells time. Trieu says that she comes from Vietnam, and I actually have a theory that this may potentially be the comedian's daughter that the character seemingly killed at the time by shooting her mother when she was pregnant with her. I may be jumping the gun a bit, but the Vietnam callback definitely stands out for me, and in the original source material, though it was stipulated that Dr. Manhattan did nothing during this killing as a way to show his detachment from humanity, it was revealed later in the book that he did care about humans on some level due to micro expressions that he showcased, and after the comedian departed, he may have saved the child. This elixir could have been given because he saw just how important Trieu was, and the clock that she is building, similar to Manhattan, may have the ability to view time simultaneously. This is all just my theory though, so if you disagree or agree with me, then make sure you leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Trieu is aware of Will, and it looks like she is the one that rescued him and is keeping him safe. In Vight's story, we see him fishing in a lake and pulling out babies that eventually become the clones that serve him. We see him throwing some back, possibly because, like the buffalo in the prior episode, he is only allowed a certain quota, and if he passes this, it will draw the attention of the game warden. I've already made a full video on Ozymandias' plan and what I think it is, so yeah, make sure you check that out after this breakdown if you haven't yet. In short though, I think that he is trapped and trying to build a means of escape with the clones. Ozymandias is clearly going stir crazy though, and though he's murdered all of the clones, there does turn out to be a purpose for this. He has done it in order to create ammo for the catapult. In the episode we see that he is testing it to see whether it will fire beyond the barrier of his home, and it seems to be successful. He built a suit in the last episode because outside of the barrier is the cold reaches of an inhospitable planet, and thus he must have a suit that can survive this. We also learn that he's been there for 4 years, so it's not the Groundhog Day situation that I've seen some people say that it is. It does look like he could be on the moon, but I guess that we'll find out more as the series goes on. Originally I thought this was Dr. Manhattan's work, but I think now that Trieu has trapped him and did this after buying the company. We know that she definitely can create babies, and her chamber in the episode shows that she can change environments, and it's definitely within her wheelhouse. Back on Earth, Cal and Angela discuss Will and how the former is having difficulty trusting Angela when she is clearly hiding something. Similar to this, back at Trieu Industries, daughter Trieu has a dream of being in a village that men burned. This is clearly a memory of Trieu's childhood, and it adds more weight to the fact that I think she is a clone of Trieu that has been created in order to carry on her legacy. We see Will safe and sound, and it's revealed that he can indeed walk. It's becoming clear that he is weaving this mystery for Angela in order to allow her to unearth everything slowly, rather than dropping it on her all at once. We don't know what the ins and outs are just yet, but something is clearly building, and though this episode seems predominantly set up, it is very intriguing. There is the tease of a climax, with Will revealing that Angela will learn the truth shortly, and end up hating him for it. Now going forward, it looks like we are finally going to get some backstory for Looking Glass, as well as what his true motives are. It appears that he may be infiltrating the cavalry, or that he could already be a member. Personally, I think it's the latter, and this episode will be more of a showcase of his time before the police and how he ended up becoming part of their ranks. Now he may not be, it's just some things I've seen over the episodes kind of paint him out as a shady character. Either way, it looks like he isn't too big of a fan of Laurie, and she may be going face to face with him at some point, which the preview for next week is clearly pointing towards. It also looks like Ozzy may finally escape his prison, and we will get some answers towards what's going on with the character, so I'm very hyped to see what happens with him and if we finally learn where he is. Obviously, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this episode and if you agree with the theories in the video. Comment below and let me know, and if you enjoy this then please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to check out my Ozymandias plan breakdown as well as the series so far, which will be linked at the end. We also do a podcast called Watching The Watchmen, in which we break down every issue of the Watchmen graphic novel page by page and also give our thoughts on Doomsday Clock. I'll leave that linked at the end, and if you want to come chat to me after the video then make sure you follow me on Twitter at DeffinitionYT, or head over to my Discord server, which will be linked in the description below. Those are the best ways to keep up to date with all the latest videos on the channel, so hopefully I see you over there very soon. We're also giving away a free copy of the Marvel Phase 3 Part 1 box set on Blu-ray, which contains Civil War, Doctor Strange, Homecoming, Ragnarok and more, and all you have to do to be in with a chance of winning is like the video, make sure that you subscribe to the channel and leave your thoughts on Watchmen in the comments section below. The winner's going to be chosen on the 15th of November and the set will be shipped out from then to whoever gets the prize, so best of luck to everyone who takes part. This is a channel for people who are super into superheroes, so if that's the kind of thing you like, hit subscribe. Thanks again for taking the time to watch this. I've been Deffinition, you've been the best, and I'll see you next time. Take care, peace.